Disturb not the harmony of fire, ice, or lightning, lest these titans wreak destruction upon the world in which they clash.
So is Lawrence III the kind of person who likes to read out loud, or does he know he's in a movie and so he's reading out loud to make the audience aware of this prophecy that we recited and referenced at least 5 more times in this movie? Also, this Shimudi prophecy is drilled into the audience so much throughout the movie that it feels like when you're forced to recite the Pledge of Allegiance every morning in your first class. Do schools still do that actually? I remember when I got to high school I stopped saying the Pledge of Allegiance because I thought, how many times do I need to say this? Shouldn't once be enough? So now the sin is also for reminding me of how annoying it was to recite the Pledge of Allegiance every day. And the prophecy is important, but they repeat it enough so you really don't forget it. I understand that this movie officially marks the anime debut of Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, but anyone who's played the games, which will be a large number of people by the time this movie came out, definitely already knows about these Pokémon. I'm sure people who only watch the anime probably already know about these Pokémon. As a kid and to this day, I have always been extremely perplexed by the writing system that exists in the Pokémon world. Like, how does any person read this? And it's appeared so much over the years and isn't even consistent that I'm led to believe they just make up symbols for each time they need some writing. I mean, at that point, just use Japanese characters. At least the Japanese audience would be able to read it, and Western audiences would recognize what it is. I'd like to know how Lawrence III got access to Siri years before the idea was even thought of. Leave it to the Japanese to always be living in the future, even back in the year 2000. I'd also like to know where on Earth Lawrence got all the necessary funds to construct his massive Sky Fortress ship. Like, what was this guy doing for a living that he could save this much money to build this gigantic aircraft? Also, who on the writing staff and design team thought his aircraft needed to be this elaborate and complex? No wonder this monstrosity is CGI. I absolutely love the Legendary Birds, but damn, they really did Moltres dirty in its debut. It's on screen for not even a minute and gets its island halfway frozen and immediately captured by the movie's antagonist. Moltres could have done better to evade Lawrence III as well, because what is Moltres doing here? Maybe if Moltres wasn't cooped up in that cave, it could work on its aerial maneuvers.
Bring together all three, their treasures combined tame, the beast of the sea, Lugia.
This is the second time that prophecy has been said, even if just a little bit, and now it's worth 2 sins. This, right here, is why everyone thought Lugia was a water type until we saw it in the games. On top of it, it's classified as the diving Pokemon and lives at the bottom of the ocean in undersea currents. If it wasn't for the time this Pokemon was released, it wouldn't have been a psychic type. Now I do need to remove a sin, though, for Lugia's amazing and iconic cry in the anime. And remove another sin for this amazing Pokemon title intro that I would replay at least 10 times every time I watched this movie growing up, because that guitar is just chef's kiss.
Another perfect day in paradise.
It wouldn't be a Pokemon without our narrator, would it? So the sin is for narration. Pokeration to be specific. In case you forgot the Pokemon these guys own since the last time you watched Pokemon, here's a quick reminder. I won't dare play the song due to copyright, but damn it, I must give a sin back for this amazing Pokemon movie remix of Pokemon World, because this song always slaps, and I jammed out to this song while writing the script for this video. Team Rocket must have the calves of Olympic athletes because they are always pedaling this Magikarp submarine around. Now, does this thing start to sink if they get tired? Pokemon/animals sense something is wrong before humans do cliché. Okay, so Ash returned Lapras to its Pokeball, but why not Squirtle? Does Squirtle not count?
An island!
In a storm.
I seen this movie!
Oh look, Team Rocket just casually breaking the fourth wall. I assume they're referencing the first movie here since Mewtwo also created an island in the middle of the ocean and also in a storm. However, how could they reference Mewtwo's island if their memories were wiped after the events of the movie? Also, the only person allowed to break the fourth wall is Deadpool. You let him do his thing. Mr. Mime, my guy, what are you sweeping exactly? The stone steps are over here. Why are you sweeping the grass?
Well, this is the time of year when the sun shines every day.
Boy, this weather sure has good timing to conveniently contradict what Professor Oak said right after he said it. Let the record show that all these strange weather occurrences are taking place because Lawrence III captured 1 legendary Pokemon. I can't think of another instance where capturing 1 legendary Pokemon from a trio began to throw things this out of balance. These Diglett are dicks to Professor Oak and his bike.
It's been a while. Carol, I can't believe it.
Our side character conveniently knows the random people that are on this island and has history with one of them.
It's our tradition. You should be honored to take part.
Telling people how they should feel about doing something.
The ancient legend foretells your arrival, and only with you can the guardian of the waters vanquish the great titans of fire, ice, and lightning.
And this makes the 3rd mention of the prophecy. 3 sins. I will remove 1 sin for Ash being able to walk up to a random island, immediately catch the eye of a girl that lives there, and get a kiss all within 5 minutes. Boy has rhythm like that.
Oh, and Misty, try try not to get jealous.
Okay, so the only one who was properly introduced was Ash. So how does Melody know Misty's name? I know technically this is an error between Japanese and English versions with scripting and translations and edits, but ignoring that, it's still confusing for an English viewer.
And she says, no, but I have crabbies.
I'm sorry, did the Pokemon dub anime just casually make a joke about an STD, and they left it in the final product? I don't know whether to remove a sin since they got to keep that in, or add a sin for it being an STD joke. The sin counter will remain neutral here. The song for the legend is so beautiful and is worthy of a sin removal.
Hear ye all! From the trio of islands, ancient spheres shall you take, for between life and death, all the difference you'll make.
Well, time to add 4 sins for the 4th time the prophecy is paraphrased or mentioned.
What do I do? I just told you, Ash.
Saying I just told you instead of just actually explaining what they need to do the first time since they are obviously confused. Why does Misty react this way?
And besides, almost all the chosen ones come back alive. Melody?
Casually joking that Ash could die doing this. I mean, he almost does actually, so this is also for speaking it into existence with your prophecy talk, Melody.
Do I get to wear a cool costume? Sorry, but it's just come as you are. Besides, you look perfect to me. The handsomest chosen one in years.
Again, Ash's Riz game grants him a sin removal.
You coming, Misty? No thanks. If you want somebody to do whatever you want, whenever you want, you should find yourself a girlfriend.
Thinking that's what girlfriends do. As someone with a girlfriend, I can assure you they do not do whatever you want, whenever you want. And yes, this is 2025, and the movie came out in 2000, but girlfriends were also not like that back then either, making this comment outdated even by 2000 standards. What happened to Ash's eyes? So Ash just stated how he was ready to go to the first island to do his duty, so why does Pikachu need to steal Ash's hat? Ash was already going to go. I don't think Pikachu needed to persuade Ash to get to the boat any quicker. He's just being a to Ash. Team Rocket survived that crash from before.
Disturb not the harmony of fire, ice, and lightning.
Let's add another 5 sins for the 5th time someone felt the need to reiterate part of the prophecy.
What are you coming for? To find Ash. And before you start saying it's because I secretly like him, don't. Because I don't.
This is the 3rd time Misty has acted quite defensive about not having feelings for Ash, and I know there's a big group of people who will always support poke shipping. I'm just saying that if Misty didn't have feelings for him, she wouldn't be addressing this so much.
He's not my boyfriend. He's a boy and he's a friend, but he's not a boyfriend.
You talking about me?
Tracy, you wish they were talking about you. Come back when you have Riz like Ash, then we can talk. How did Team Rocket manage to sneak onto the boat without getting spotted? I know it's Team Rocket, but Misty and them were ahead of them, so yes, they'd see which boat they'd be taking, but was no one paying attention?
Pokémon Zapdos detected.
Pokesiri felt the need to announce she detected Zapdos to make herself useful in case you couldn't tell Zapdos was on the board making moves with all the yellow squares. Again, let the record show that this world-ending weather is occurring all because one legendary Pokemon got captured. I don't know, seems like a bit much to me. So the Brock cameo was cool, but why's he got a regular Nidorina in Paris when that's not how Pokemon look on Valencia Island? Ocean, waves, boats, excitement?
I've been around boats all my life. You don't have to be scared.
Melody, all she said was, cool move. That would not give the impression that someone is scared. Team Rocket conveniently gets blasted off directly towards the island. Pretty sure Melody is going to have to explain to her sister all the damage she's doing to the underside of the boat. Also, I know the boat has sails hoisted up now, but what kind of mechanics is the boat using that allows it to go up rock stairs?
Well, like you said, you are a girl and you are his friend. Isn't that right?
No, Melody. Technically, Misty said,
He's not my boyfriend. He's a boy and he's a friend, but he's not a boyfriend.
so she never once said what you're claiming she said, even if it is true. So how did Pikachu know this shrine and this sphere were here? We know the Pokemon are all more acutely in tune with nature, but how does being in tune with nature allow Pikachu to know about the location of this sphere? Convenient knowledge is convenient. This weather just became all the more strange because apparently it can sense when the Chosen One has removed a sphere from a shrine.
Prepare for more trouble than you've ever seen.
And make it double. We're on the big screen.
Alright, that was a good 4th wall break. They've earned a sin off.
I'll have to catch this on video. I'm in a hurry here, and the weather's looking bad.
And now Savage Ash is making a 4th wall break. We'll remove another sin.
But our luck's changed, and our ship has finally come in.
Melody must know she's in a movie because her comedic timing is impeccable. And wow, look at this! Absolutely no damage has been done to the underside of this boat. What's this thing made of?
Oh, you'll get used to it. It's just something you're gonna need to work on when the two of you get married. Take that back!
Misty's not beating the romantic allegations here at all.
Yous two don't need the opposite sex because you got each other.
What does that mean?
Funny.
Oh, I love Team Rocket. Now this is how you give a proper debut to a legendary Pokemon. Zapdos has ominous and intimidating music, sends thunderbolts across the sky to signal its approach, frightens the main cast, comes in and takes over Fire Island, and asserts its power and dominance. A sin I shall remove. I love how Zapdos tells Pikachu to sit down. Okay, so question. Why is Meowth able to read electricity? Meowth learned how to speak like humans to impress another Meowth, and in turn is also able to interpret between Pokemon and humans. Where did Meowth study up on reading electricity? That's an elemental power that I don't think Meowth should be able to read since it's not an electric type. So why did the Rings decide to pick out the main cast and their boat? Did they just sense Pokemon and grabbed it just because? Are they designed to grab anything they detect once launched?
Code Blue 3. When capturing Zapdos, we collected something more.
More?
Okay, firstly, what is Code Blue 3? And how is it different from codes Blue 1 and Blue 2? Secondly, why did Pokeseries say something more? Just say you've got extra Pokemon and some people.
Disturb not the harmony of fire, ice, or lightning, lest these titans wreak destruction upon the world in which they clash.
Well, that's another 6 sins for the 6th time someone's mentioned this prophecy.
I am merely a collector. I began my collection with a Mew card, and now I have all this. I think Lawrence III should really be selling masterclasses on how he obtained all this, because clearly the vast majority of us are doing something wrong. Man said he started with a new card and ended up with all this. I'd love to know what steps he took to get here because he clearly knows business and had a very good season of hustle.
Water Pokemon are coming by sea.
I'd like to point out Ekans is not a water-type Pokemon. I'd like to point out that Lickitung is not a water-type Pokemon.
I could use pants.
Nothing else? Just pants? No sweater, hoodie, thermal, socks, gloves, hat. Just pants? Got it. And why does the snow change direction between these two shots? It was going this way and then decided to reverse.
Disturb not the harmony of fire, ice, or lightning, lest these titans wreak destruction upon the world in which they clash. What if the ancient legend is coming true?
Oh, right, I forgot. This movie can't go 10 minutes without referencing this prophecy, so here's 7 more sins. Still don't know how anyone is reading this, because that looks like a ton of gibberish to me.
If it is true, all intelligent life will be destroyed.
That's right.
And I'll be...
You will be fine.
You can definitely tell this was Ash's first thought. He's the type of person to choose violence first. Also, Ash, what did you think was going to happen? You witnessed these metal cages trap a legendary Pokemon before your own eyes, so you shouldn't be mad that your little tackle didn't break the cage. So why does Lugia need to wait until Articuno starts to be targeted? With all the world-ending weather anomalies that have been occurring, you'd think Lugia would have stepped in already. All it took was one legendary bird being captured to throw things out of whack, but once Lawrence III nearly has all 3 birds, then he decides it's time to step in.
Well, if things are going to start to get ugly, we might as well try wheezing.
Did she just diss James's Pokemon? That was rude for no reason. I love how Jessie gets mad that it didn't work when they didn't even have Weezing launch an actual attack. Ash just did the same thing, so what made you think this was going to work? How does Lawrence have these protective force fields around these objects? So Moltres frees Zapdos from its cage, and Zapdos' immediate response is to hit it with Thunderbolt? Got it. Zapdos is a d to Moltres. I'm sorry, this guy is just way too casual, calm, and nonchalant about all of this. He makes a surprised face when he sees the legendary birds escape, like he just said, "Nani?" Then seems just unfazed when he sees his aircraft is going to come crashing down. Damn it, Meowth, come on. It's his fault they all end up rolling down this metal beam. Oh look, they conveniently crash-landed next to Zapdos' shrine. And the sphere conveniently lands in front of Ash. Lugia definitely must know it's in a movie because that is absolute perfect timing to save our heroes. But how did it know they'd be right there? If he was 10 feet off, they would have fallen to the ground. Oh right, because Lugia knows it's in a movie, so he was performing on cue. Well, now Melody has to explain to her sister that her boat is totaled now.
So, you're Ash. You're one treasure short.
Yeah, I know, but how'd you know my name?
And Slowking will proceed to not answer this question. Why are the 3 legendary birds just randomly firing attacks at the ground instead of, at each other? They are fighting each other, right?
Cut it out!
Why does Ash think yelling at legendary Pokemon will work? 10 out of 10, spectacular, immaculate, one of the best legendary Pokemon debuts in Pokemon history, 2 sins off. Ah yes, the writers realized we went another 10 minutes with no one referencing the legend, so here's a quick reminder from Melody.
Though the guardian of the sea shall arise to quell the fighting, alone its song will fail. Thus the earth shall turn to ash.
And now here's another 8 sins. I thought they were fighting Lugia now, so why are they still firing at the ground? Okay, so Lugia is going to come into frame from here. So what on earth are Zapdos and Moltres doing firing off attacks over here? They don't know how to battle properly. How does combining all 3 attacks somehow still manage to freeze the opening here? And then they go back to firing off attacks into the air instead of at each other.
What are Ash and his friends doing out in this terrible weather? I'm worried about them.
Delia is such a gem. Despite what's going on in the world, she still puts Ash and his friends first. Absolutely fantastic mother. Remove a sin for Delia.
There's only one hope. Only the Chosen One can bring together the treasures to help the water's great guardian.
But the legend says its song will fail.
And thus the earth shall turn to ash.
Damn, we didn't even go 5 minutes without talking about the legend. This movie really likes its sins, so here's 9 more.
Well, right now, I wish my mom had named me Bob instead of Ash.
No, you don't, Ash. Bob's just come into existence somehow. You would have never been named that, ever.
Lugia, the sound it makes is just like the song from the legend.
It would be a miracle if they stopped referencing the legend so damn often. 10 sins to Gryffindor.
The song has restored my strength. But it alone cannot bring harmony to the 3 boring ones.
I remember thinking as a kid that Lugia was saying the 3 boring ones instead of warring ones, and that's just a lot funnier. So the sin here is for Lugia actually not saying that.
Right now, I feel more like the frozen one.
Ash, you're too young to be making dad jokes.
Maybe they got the wrong Ash.
Where did all your confidence go you just had 10 seconds ago? I'd like to point out that Ash is going to ride Lugia back from Ice Island later in the movie, so why didn't he just ride Lugia to get to Ice Island in the first place? Lugia, you were supposed to help him get to the island, and you let Zapdos fire off Thunderbolt right in front of Ash. Good job.
We'll never get there now.
Or you could just ask Lugia for a ride?
You want to help?
Of course!
We don't want the world destroyed.
Even if we survived,
There'd be no one left to steal from.
we'd be out of work.
So you want to be good guys, yet are doing so for very selfish reasons. I'm not so sure I believe this transformation you've undergone. Ooh, shiny. Oh look, the legendary birds remembered how to battle properly and to attack each other. See, they could have done this from the beginning.
We're slowing Lugia down. The 3 of us are too heavy.
Let's try Weight Watchers.
It's too late for that.
I heard it's never too late if you really stick to the program!
Okay, here I actually believe Team Rocket did the right thing and for the right reason, but damn, they were prepared to die to save the world. That's beautiful and admirable. 3 sins off, 1 for each member of the trio. But now add a sin back for this convenient hole in the ice for them to land in so they don't die. And now a word from our Melody.
Let's hope the legend is true.
And that concludes our frequent reminder about this movie's legend. Do add 11 more sins, please. Dude is way too calm as what's left of his aircraft falls into shambles. Ash survives this.
Legend or not, Ash can't do this alone.
Melody has contributed quite a bit to the sin counter for this movie and will continue to do so by adding another 12 sins for continuing to bring up the legend that we are all aware of by now and have not forgotten about.
And Ash is never really alone because he's got me.
Sounds like something his girlfriend would say. Hey, look at Tracy being useful. Misty, I don't think that's how you administer CPR. I know they made it official that Ash is the chosen one, but the legend never said he had to do it alone. I get Ash's sense of responsibility here for sure, but he has clearly had help this entire movie, but thinks he needs to walk up the stairs alone.
Have you brought the final treasure, Ash?
Here it is, Slowking.
Ash, how do you know that's a Slowking? I know for a fact Dexter wouldn't have any data on it right now because we're still in Generation 1 right now, and that Slowking didn't tell you it was a Slowking at any point in this movie. Was Ash able to see the script for this movie? The weather also seems to know when this song is being played, and that all 3 spheres have been obtained because it's disappearing exactly on cue. Well, now that the ice has melted and we can see the ocean again, are the Pokemon that were standing on the ice before just going to drown now? Yes, you Ash. I'm pretty sure he's not asking Tracy. So despite not moving when his aircraft was collapsing, he somehow survived that. Okay, so I take it that those Pokemon did drown because here are all the flying Pokemon, and here are all the water Pokemon, and others that can swim. I don't see any Nidoran, Venusaur, Electabuzz, Nidoking, etc. Now that Melody has finished her song, let's remove us in for that masterful orchestration that is Lugia's song.
All right, start talking. You are in big trouble, mister.
I love how Delia approaches Ash in typical mom fashion, begins to scold him in front of his friends. Gotta love moms.
Well, I could have lost my whole world.
Delia is just so sweet. Take another sin off.
Every day I worry about you and wonder if you're all right. I know I can't stop you from doing the things you need to do. I just can't help missing you all the time.
Alright, Delia's gonna make me cry. She's just the sweetest.
How it all began, and how I'll begin again.
How is this dude still so calm? I mean, I guess he gets points for optimism. More power to him. This also makes me wonder if there's an actual Pokemon TCG in the anime. And if not, does this ancient Mew card have anything to do with the lore of Mew?
Lots of people saw what you did out there. And all of them are watching you right now.
So Slowking does know he's in a movie. Also, there have been a lot of fourth wall breaks this movie, and Deadpool would like to issue you a fine. 10 seconds to pay up.
So then we're not bad.
That's good.
What if the boss finds out?
That's bad.
We'll start our own team.
That's good.
But we got no money.
That's bad.
Then we'll just steal some.
That's good. Or is that bad? Oh.
Oh, gotta love Team Rocket.
But I am the chosen one.
Where have you been? Bed's empty, no note, car gone. You could have died. You could have been seen.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky!
Wow. I believe I can fly.